with Ramadan Ahmed Birima, editor of SudanHorizon.com, and we are talking against a background of over 70 people that were killed in a drone attack in a mosque. And just to unpack all of this, let's go ahead and let's say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you, Ramadan Ahmed. Welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Brother Inayat. And
Yes.
salam to your listeners and viewers as well.
Yes, we've been watching the situation unfold in Sudan for a long time right now, and obviously it is a very, very dire situation. While the world is focusing on Gaza, there is obviously a very, very serious development that is taking place, and the latest, which has actually shocked the world once again, a drone attack on a mosque, 70 people that have been killed. Now, a UN report, Ramadan, talks about this as a result of ethnic violence. Is this about ethnic violence?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salam ala Nabiina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Brother Wadi, there is nothing like ethnic violence or civil war. There is invasion, and Sudan is being invaded. And what happened in Sudan, in fact, it was a three-step plan, which is Plan A, B, and C. Plan A is to swallow the military, Sudanese military, into this paramilitary group, which is called RSF. That is Rapid Support Forces, RSF. And this is a paramilitary group that was formed during the time of the former President al-Bashir to support the military. But what happened is that when the government of al-Bashir collapsed, the regional forces, aided by some international forces, thought it is high time for them to replace the Sudanese army with the army that belongs to them. And that's why they came up with something called framework agreement in order to give this RSF group 10 years to integrate into the army. This is what they call. But in fact, given the pace whereby this RSF was moving, 2 years would be enough for this group to swallow the military. Now, that plan failed because the military refused to sign the agreement. They came with Plan B. Plan B is to overthrow the government and kill the military leaders and do whatever they want. That also failed. And then Plan C is to wage a quick war. Now, that quick war, the military resisted with the support of the popular support, the popular armed group. That's the resistance group. So Plan C also failed, and the war continued for the last 2 years, and now it is entering its third year. What people do not know in Africa, and in South Africa in particular, is that this RSF do not abide by any rules of engagement, which means they attacked villages and besieged towns and cities. So what you have heard today, this bombing of a mosque where almost more than 70 people got killed, is just a tip of an iceberg of so many atrocities that this group have committed, not only in Darfur, that is Western Sudan, but also in the areas where they controlled in the first days when they announced this kind of rebellion against the army. They killed in tens of villages. They looted, they raped, they did everything that you can ever imagine. So they killed innocent people for nothing, and they looted banks, they destroyed infrastructure, they did everything. Even the ordinary Sudanese was asking, what is wrong with these people? They are just destroying and doing everything that you can ever imagine. So, in a nutshell, what is going on in Sudan is not a civil war. It is not ethnic war, nothing like that at all. All the ethnicities, all the groups, including the groups in from Darfur, are united behind the army.
Yes, Brother Ramadan, in fact, I appreciate the fact that you've obviously provided some context and some background to this because, with Plan C in motion, as you alluded to, not everything is black and white, and clear. And now that you've given some background and you put some context, just to try and understand what is playing out in the background, what lies behind the RSF, and also, trying to understand what would the end game for Sudan be.
The situation is a bit complicated, Brother Wadi. And for many people, when you talk to them about war in Sudan, they think like any other war that appeared elsewhere in Africa. But that is not the case. The RSF itself is not operating on its own. It is a tool that being manipulated and supported and directed from outside regional forces. And I'm calling here namely the United Arab Emirates. And also the United Arab Emirates is not operating on its own. It's also manipulated and being directed and instructed by other forces. In a nutshell, what happens in Gaza is exactly what happens in Sudan, and those who are behind what happens in Gaza is exactly those are behind what happens in Sudan, but they are using proxies. They are not coming on their own. So RSF is not operating on its own. It is a tool that is being used, and the reason why the media is not highlighting it is because the same thing that happens in Gaza, no interference. The whole world is watching what is going on. And unfortunately, what happens in Africa is not highlighted at all in the media because, as you know, the mainstream media is dominated by the same people who are manipulating things in Africa, in the Arab world, in the third world in general. So, what happens in Sudan is that RSF is being seen, but the fact of the matter is beyond the RSF, and the military is doing its best with the support of the popular resistance.
Well, Ramadan, I'm not surprised at the involvement of the UAE and its complicity once again in another genocide that is unfolding, because we know of the UAE and as far as Gaza is concerned, and their complicity in the genocide against the people of Palestine. So there is a track record as far as the United Arab Emirates is concerned in involvement in these matters, but just to understand, what does the UAE actually hope to gain by creating this mayhem, by creating this genocide, by all the senseless killing of innocent civilians that is taking place in Sudan as we speak right now?
It is very difficult actually to downplay the role of the United Arab Emirates in what happens either in Sudan or in Africa, because the United Arab Emirates wants to put its hand on the resources. And this, as you know, Sudan is one of the richest countries in Africa, with fertile lands, with minerals, with rainwater, with rivers, everything, and you name it. So it is a kind of resources that make you know um, raise the appetite of those who are hungry for resources. United Arab Emirates could have done something different completely if it were operating on its own. The Sudanese people don't have any problem with the Emirati people. In fact, Sudan and Sudanese experts were the first actually that contributed to the development that happened in United Arab Emirates. And there was very good relationships actually between the two people. The Emirati people don't have any problem, don't have anything to do with what is happening. Their government is doing at all. So what happens here is that United Arab Emirates is using its money to manipulate things in Africa, and it is paying officials, paying organizations, paying media to amplify the narrative of the RSF, which is the narrative of the UAE. And you know that the Sudanese army is different completely from the armies of the Arab world, meaning that it has some loyalty to the land, not to foreign powers, unlike any other Arab armies that are receiving instructions from overseas. And that's the reason why they want to remove this army and to build an army of their own that is fully loyal to them, so that they can be able to do everything that they want. They just want the resources of the country, nothing else. And maybe there are some political forces also who are an obstruction for them, and they need to remove these forces. And here I name namely the Islamists, and there are some other nationalist forces or political forces that are loyal to the land. So they want to remove all this and replace them with some people who are loyal to them, in order to allow them to loot as much as possible of the Sudanese resources. So what I can put it is, this is the curse of the resources, as you can see.
Yes, in fact, for a long time we've known that Sudan has been known as the bread basket of Africa, and that is the potential that Sudan really has. Just understanding the situation on the ground as we speak right now, as you mentioned, this attack on the mosque, but there are worse atrocities that have also been committed as well. What is the situation on the ground right now? How dire is the situation? What are civilians going through?
Brother Inayat, if I tell you what happens on the ground, you can't imagine. You may say, yes, it is true, and I believe it, but you can't imagine the horror of what is happening on the ground. Imagine the city of Al Fashir, cities of Kadugli and Delenj. These cities have been besieged for 2 years plus, with nothing comes in at all, no any humanitarian aid. Civilians are not allowed to go and farm their lands, and people are just sitting in their homes. All the shops are empty, the shelves are empty, nothing. People were forced to eat animal food, and even that animal food is expired. People were forced to eat um, um, tree leaves. I have my relative in the city of Delany, who lost four of his children, four, because they ate wrong leaves and they died. Children are dying out of malnutrition, and the elders as well. It is something horrific, horrific in the strict sense of the term. If you are told, Brother Wadi, that if somebody comes to you and tell you at gunpoint that you have to leave your house, take whatever you can, carry it on your back and go. You can carry a few things that can, some food, for example, that can take you for about a few days, 2, 3, 4 days, and then just imagine yourself. Now, what happened to those people? Somebody comes to you, points the gun at you, and tells you, "Go out of this place and take nothing. You just go with your clothes that you are putting on. You don't know where to sleep, what to eat, what to drink, and it is something that you can't imagine. For 2 years, people are just skeletons moving. You can't believe it in the 21st century that something that like this can happen, and there is a human being, if I can call it a human being, who can allow this to happen, and there is somebody else who was watching this to happen. Something absolutely horrible.
No, I don't think the world has come to grips with the true reality of Sudan from what you've just described, Brother Ramadan. And another Gaza, while the world is obviously focused on Gaza. You speak about human skeletons, we speak about man made famine. And I don't think the world has seen the true reality. Just in your mind, you know, what should the world be doing, or what isn't the world doing?
That is excellent question, and that is a $1 million question. Actually, this one, the world could do a lot simply to order the United Arab Emirates to stop funding the RSF militia. That's it. That is exactly what the world should have done. Should have done. But as you know, Brother Wadi, we are living in a world of double standards. The strong are having their interests above the weak. The rich are deciding, and the poor are obeying. We are in a world where there are no standards at all, no neutral standards. The strong are the ones who are forcing their will. Now, those, if you are in the wrong direction, meaning that you are wrong side, if you are in the resistance, then definitely you are not considered a human being. So at the world's stage, when they talk about human beings, they talk about democracy, they talk about human rights, and whatsoever this kind of flowery slogans that they raise, they mean something else completely different. Now, what they could have done is just to tell, was to instruct the United Arab Emirates to stop funding the RSF. That is as simple as that. Now, if that happened, then definitely the war is over, and the army would exercise its control over all the country, and nothing else would happen. Now, there is a talk about negotiations, and that RSF should be negotiated with. The question is, you cannot negotiate with somebody who is attacking civilians, looting resources, and killing, just for nothing. Now, the RSF in Sudan is not representing a threat to the army. It is a security threat. And a security threat is something that is threatening the civilian lives. In that situation, you cannot talk about negotiations, but talk about removing that security threat in order that people could live in peace. So, in a nutshell, United Arab Emirates must stop support for the RSF.
Yes, Brother Ramadan. In fact, just a good few weeks ago, there was a planned protest here in South Africa against the UAE and its complicity in the genocide in Gaza. And there were very, very strong calls to actually include Sudan and UAE complicity as part and parcel of that protest. Unfortunately, that protest action obviously was turned down, or permission wasn't given for that protest action to take place. So we in South Africa are actually fully aware of these issues that you have discussed. Obviously, you provided a lot more context and a lot more detail just to highlight how dire and how serious the situation is, and to what extent and to what level the UAE has actually gone in supporting the RSF. And I'm sure, at some point in time, we can have some further discussions on this matter, but unfortunately, time is of the essence. But we thank you. We say Jazakallah to you for taking time out this morning with us right here on Salam Media. All the best to you, my brother, and we will continue making dua for Sudan. They are in our prayers, and whatever we can do in terms of raising our voices for on behalf of the people of Sudan to highlight the situation, we will continue with it as well, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair. I appreciate actually the interview, and I hope that we could do more interviews to highlight a lot of issues pertaining to Sudan that African people don't know, let alone South Africans who are very far from Sudan. So I appreciate this interview, and wish you all the best, and your listeners and viewers as well. Thank you very much.
Inshallah. I mean, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ramadan Ahmed Birima joining us out of Sudan this morning, and once again highlighting another genocide that is unfolding, that is not getting the attention, that is not getting the focus that it actually deserves. And from what he described, a very serious situation, a serious development. And once again, the UAE right up there as far as complicity goes in another genocide. We know how deeply involved, how deeply entrenched the UAE has been as far as the genocide in Gaza goes. With that, we're going for a break. We come back, we'll be joined by Mariam Juma Karichi.